Well, hello everybody and welcome back down into the dungeon. September 30th. Where has this year gone? Anyway, the most important part of all that is that it's a Sunday, so we're going to take a look at everything that's growing on here, which does pretty much limit us to the dungeon. We're not going to bother with houseplants and stuff today. But the first thing I want to get done with all of this nonsense here today is I want to get a bit of a harvest in. So check this out. There are, not a whole lot of these peppers that are ripe, but there are a few that are ready to go. And as always, I do like to sock these things away in the dehydrator, store them for a little bit later on. I am quite pleased with how well most of these plants are doing. Look at that El Oro de Ecuador. Normally you'd think these are yellow leaves, but those are in fact ripening peppers. They're popping off all over the place on this thing. So I'm going to harvest those up really quick and then we will get into it. Alright. Lots of fun little plate of peppers for a basement harvest. Nothing massive, but considering basement, Manitoba, not bad, not bad. Might skip the standard dehydrator with these ones. Thinking, I was reading up on how to do a pepper string. Maybe I'll give that a try with some of these this year. Could be a fun assortment to try that with. So for a bit of fun today, I thought I'd grab a nice sturdy string off one of the spider plants we have upstairs. And I'm not even going to separate these guys for a change. I'm just going to plant them in a nice simple row. I might rearrange that one there so it's pointing up. But I was looking through all the junk down here and I've got several of those trays. They kind of came with the dungeon. So to put them to use, I'm thinking this might not be a bad idea. What a mess, eh? Alright, but it's a pretty simple sort of concept. Doesn't seem to have any holes. Spider plants can deal with abuse fairly well. So the fact that I haven't even cleaned this one shouldn't be a problem. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll grow some radishes or something in a few of those little mini row gardens. So I'm going to sink that in here. Oh, by the way, this is compost from the landscaping pile. I figure it doesn't matter because it's just spider plants. It's not like we're going to be eating these. So yeah, seemed a good opportunity to get some of it to use. And I am going to cover it up with a nice thick layer of peat moss. So we should be all good there. Should be. Yes. Alright. We'll just throw that on the houseplant shelf for now. See how that does. As the winter progresses, it's a spider plant. It'll probably do just fine. Not quite sure why these ones are a little on the pale side, but I'm sure they'll pick up and start looking like their friend back there. While I was up here rearranging things, I was thinking I need to maybe get rid of this one that seems to be a separate plant. And I was looking down at the base of it there, and it looks like we've got a fresh shoot coming up. So I'm just going to carefully try and prune off these dead ones here, and we'll see if that helps it. Figure while I've got some of that compost down here, and I can't really use it for vegetables and such yet because it's got the dog waste and blah blah blah. Might be time for a little houseplant ER. The Dieffenbachia could use better planting situation, I'm thinking. And the compost probably wouldn't hurt it. Never actually have done much research on this thing. But here we go all the same. Well, I'd say that particular plant looks a little happier. So we'll put it here. It's up on a little bit of a platform. There is some drainage at the bottom of that, so hopefully it shouldn't be flooded. Take a look at the mouse melon. Looks like it's dying off, but there's plenty of fresh dungeon growth in there, so maybe it's time to go through there with my little tiny pruning snips. Most adorable little scissors you ever have seen. This is the suspiciously sturdy looking pepper plant from outside. Looking a little less than sturdy now. The red demon's not looking particularly great either. Was kind of hoping those leaves would amount to a bit more than that. But what really is looking pretty sad is the matchbox. Today is the matchbox pepper's last day. We're moving that tray under something else. On comes the aquaponic garden, so I guess we'll check that out in a couple minutes. Well, we would be anyway, but on the quicker side, I guess. Don't really want to stare at that poor matchbox. Let's see, here's an interesting one. The yellow scorpion is putting on some significantly larger leaves down here. A little on the flimsy and reachy side of things, but how is that thing even alive? You know, that pepper amazes me. The sage I'm not at all surprised by. The Sugar Rush Red, looks like it might be time to try and shake this over the fish tank too, but we'll see. Might also just be time to give everything a bit of a spray with some water and some Epsom salts and see if that helps. A little high pressure spray on its own never hurt anybody. Simulated rainstorm and all that. Nepalese Belle, is that pepper still hanging on there? It is. It's going to take forever to ripen up down here, but the fact that it even exists very much intrigues me. Very much intrigues me. Keep bumping my head on all of these carrot tops that we saved. Mostly for fish food. The fish seem to go for them alright. As I bump into everything around me. Change into the strange spectrum. Here we can see the tank. Would like to maybe figure out something that displays them a little bit better, because they really have grown quite a bit. So perhaps a traditional fish tank here at the bottom of things. Glass sides and all that might give us a better look at them. Got some amazing filth out of the bottom of that when I did my last netting. Pretty impressive. Off a lot of vines and spines from mint and oregano plants. Sage is coming along nicely. Did a little harvest of this for the chickens just this morning. They seem to like that. Told it's good for their immune system, so that's a bonus too. That rosemary doesn't look like it's dying off yet. Hopefully that's going to be a successful clone. That oregano we already know is working. Mint, I shoved the new one down in the front here. What a surprise. That one, I harvested a bunch off that for the chickens this morning too. Getting on time to maybe take a little bit off the top of that mint there. And this oregano that was over under the fluorescent light doesn't seem to be caring much for its change back to this funky LED, but we'll give it some time. Considering the little tiny sprig this thing started off as, yeah, I'm totally prepared to give it time. Taking the waterer from this one, just kind of plunked it in the bottom reservoir to fill it up for now. Poor thing was very, very dry when I checked it earlier today. Dark opal basil, somehow still struggling along. I've taken a few flower tops off of this. I don't know how much longer the plant is going to survive. Probably time to start some new basil. Not too much of a surprise that this sweet basil's kind of spread out a little bit, but again, probably time to start some new stuff. And then back on over to the Darwin table, we've got the Capo parsley. This was left unwatered for quite a while over on the shelf, so it's a little on the limp side, but it's coming back now. Here we have one of the, it was hopefully one of those peppers. Looks like it's clearly another tomato seed that has made it through. Over here we've got, well, that is definitely a tomato seed. They all look like tomato seeds. We'll see what that one that's just popping up is. Should be interesting. Always fun. Here is one of the ones that, one of the volunteer peppers, I should say, that was growing in the loaf pan. It had some pretty decent size to it, some rather lengthy little roots, so I put it into one of these shot glass size party cups from the loaf pan, and then it's currently sitting in one of the net cups because these cups are just a little bit too small, and I wanted to drop through the hole into the coffee can. Didn't quite work for me as an option, but I'm going to try and see if these little tiny cups hold enough soil and that the roots that grow down from there, you know, can do their thing. Is that enough? Does it need to be the larger party cup? Who knows, right? Over here we've got a whole bunch more of those random peppers from the compost. We're starting to see some really nice true leaves. I have had a few aphids appear on here, and I do see a few more now, But at this size, they're really easy to shake off over the fish tank, so the goldfish are enjoying that. Looks like we've got another. That one's probably not going to be with us next week. But a lot of these are looking pretty healthy. So I hope they're good pepper, because, yeah, mystery peppers, you never really know, right? You never really know. Alright everybody, and that's where I'm going to wrap it up today, I think. I've got to grab my sprayer here really quick, fill that up with some water from the dehumidifier, about as pure as I can possibly get it, right? Spray everything down and see, you know, just what's left. Definitely saying goodbye to that Matchbox. Bit of a tragedy, but I believe I still have seeds, so I will try and grow some more of those. But otherwise, things are still looking really good for the survival rate of these peppers. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated as the winter garden season grows along. Alright, take care everybody.